I'm gonna sit down.
All right.
Cut too much out.
You can use the other one as B-roll and put that on there if you want.
Yeah. All right. We're back with episode 4 of Sports Opinions with Regular Guys. It's us, Regular Guys, back. Mike, Frank, Ralph. And we just got done watching the Bulls game right now against Milwaukee. And a little disappointed. I mean, we had that game. We were in it with, all the way to the end. But we're definitely missing Zach LaVine.
Yes.
If we would have had him tonight for sure, that would have been a win. It didn't help that Kobe White went 0 for 9 from the three-point line. 1 or 2 of those would have definitely got us a win. And man, are we missing Lonzo Ball? He's going to be out for about, 6 to 8 weeks?
6 to 8 weeks. MCL tear. They said it was just a minor, small tear, but it's not really minor. It's kind of... It's a tough thing because he's gonna have to have surgery on there and get oh boy, gotta get that repaired on him. So that's a thing about that. What you gotta say about that, Frank?
Well, they lost this game because they didn't no inside presence. I mean, when every time that DeRozan touched the ball, they were double teaming him. You gotta throw it to Vooch, have him go down low and score. Instead, they weren't doing that. He was shooting threes and finding a couple. But, I mean, no inside game. You're not going to win games like that, especially when you're depleted, the way the Bulls are depleted. You got to find ways to score. Best way to score is inside. You don't have to sit there and rely on the 3. And that was atrocious, Kobe White. 0 for 9, 0 for 10, 3. I mean, goodness, man. Stop shooting them if you're not making them. Take it a few steps in and then shoot the ball. Or just drive it in. They weren't putting Milwaukee in. Yeah, but 0 for 10.
Yeah, it happens.
But he should have just
Actually,
passed the ball.
0 for 10. He was like 1 for.
I'm talking about 3-point. He didn't make no 3 points.
No 3 points, but it's all right. I mean, it is what it is. But I agree with you on Vooch. He needs to start playing more in the post to get easier buckets. I mean, I know the game right now is about threes because that's what everybody wants. It's sexier and it gets you that one more extra point than a 2. But when you're having those off nights, you need to take it in, and that's what sometimes can be a little frustrating.
Yeah, but it was important tonight because they didn't have Lonzo Ball, you didn't have Zach LaVine. It was important for him to show up tonight, and show up against Milwaukee. I know.
They didn't have Jones Jr. They didn't have Green. These are defensive players. Yeah, so give you a little bit of offense, but I mean they just depleted right now.
Yeah, I mean the Bulls they got it inside the paint, so that's what Ball does a really good job.
Not tonight. They had nothing inside the paint.
They did, but what happened was once they get there, they pass it out. And so you're like, what's the purpose of that? You're going in, you're trying to shoot the 3, and then everybody's at the ends of the 3-point, and nobody's getting ready for the rebound. And so that's another thing that kind of hurt the team too. Rebounds on offense and defense, they wasn't getting those rebounds, those critical rebounds that they need to get for those second chance points. But another thing I didn't approve of is the fact of the matter that the Bulls didn't challenge Greek Freak. You need to try to challenge on that man. Now, the 2 times he did challenge, they got 1 bucket on him, but the other ones he got a good block on him. And it's okay. That's happens. Good players, that's what they do. That's what he gets paid to do. But you got to keep coming at him. If you don't keep coming at him, then, he's going to just destroy you. He's going to do what he wants to do.
Man, it has been a long, rough stretch for the Bulls for the past 5 games. I mean, they won 1 out of the last 5.
Look who they played.
They played
all these top teams shorthanded.
That's true.
I mean, that's the thing. I mean, if they would have played these guys 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago,
be a different
they
story.
probably would have beat them. And they get the garbage teams to the back end here, but we'll see.
Hey, you gotta step up, baby. You gotta step up.
Yeah, but I mean, when your top players are not playing, COVID or injuries,
yeah, that hurts.
It's not gonna work. You can only make up so many, and so the Bulls are gonna be struggling these next couple of weeks. That's just the way it is. They're gonna be struggling. The only thing they can do is hopefully they can stay at 500 for the next couple of weeks until the All-Star break, and then hopefully after that everyone will be back. be back whole again.
I
Just
think
no
we're still holding on to the number one spot right now, right?
I don't know about now because they lost to Milwaukee, and New Jersey and the Nets won tonight. So if they're not, I think they're only a half a game in front of Milwaukee. I think they might be tied. 'Cause I still think they still have less losses than Milwaukee, but Milwaukee has more wins. So at the moment, I think they're either tied or might be a half a game. I'm not sure.
Man, what y'all think about Alex Caruso being back?
I mean, he ignites something with this team, man. I ain't think it was as it was, but he ignites good, steady defense, hands in the lane, deflecting balls. He get people up and ready to play. So I'm glad he's back. He's another good key component to the Bulls acquisition this offseason.
Hell yeah. I think he's a great acquisition. I used to watch him when he was in LA. And I'm going to credit LeBron James for preparing him, for being prime time right now. I mean, he helped with a championship. He was part of a championship team. He's got that ring, got that bling, and he had a lot to do with it, with all that defense he was playing in LA. He was dunking all over the place in LA. I see he slowed down a little bit with that here, even though I think he should have dunked on Giannis on that one fast break, but he tried to twist it to a layup and got fouled and hacked and blocked. But
and that's what I say about that challenge for Giannis.
yeah,
Sorry
great acquisition. The fast hands. He's real savvy on defense. I think he's another great pick. He's up there with Lonzo for me as an acquisition.
Well, I mean, he brings defense. He brings defense to the team, and they need defense. I mean, they didn't score a lot. Milwaukee had a bad game tonight. They really did.
Yeah, they did. Yeah, I agree with you.
Well,
they were missing
the Bulls
a lot
have
of
reason. The
shots.
Bulls are shorthanded, and they played like crap offensively, especially behind the three-point line.
Yeah.
But Caruso brings the defense that they need, keeps them in the games. But now they got to win. They got to get healthy. Period.
It'll come.
Right now they are a sub 500 team without their key players back because they're playing like it. So they have got to get healthy. They got to try to manage somehow to eke off a couple of wins. I don't know. Let me see their schedule coming up. Let me see. For the Bulls, give me a second.
Yeah.
You talking about coming up?
The Bulls schedule coming up.
Future schedule.
Yeah, of the teams they got to play.
Bulls got to rotate a little bit better too, especially on the screens when DeRozan gets the ball on the top of the key. Either you're gonna make that screen pivot or block right there, or just not go with the screen and just escape it, run to the cup so you can get that little dish and lay it up. That'd be a little bit helpful for the team too.
Well, we got a promising game coming up. We're playing the Magic, which they just got handled by the Lakers tonight.
Yeah, I see. They got a lighter schedule these next.
Then they got the Thunder.
Yeah. So,
And you know what? I'm not gonna disrespect the Thunder like that. They have a nice young
yeah, they're a nice
squad.
14-31 record. So they got the Magic, who are 8-39 coming up, and that's on the 23rd, which is Sunday. And then that's a Sunday afternoon game, 5 o'clock. Then they got the Thunder Monday at 7 o'clock in Oklahoma City. Then they got the Raptors on Wednesday, and then they got the Spurs on Friday. Next Friday.
Definitely a winnable game there.
And then the Trail Blazers after that. So these games they should be able, in my opinion, they should sweep this whole series. They should come out. Let's be honest. Record-wise, the Bulls. Well, it's not as tough as playing the last several games against the Bucks, the Cavs, the Grizzlies, the Celtics.
Yeah, but those are top players.
Yeah.
Teams.
So now they're playing the bottom feeders. So they should be able to get most of these games. They should take the Magic and the Thunder. The Raptors might give them a little bit of a go, but they should be able to take the Spurs. and they should be able to beat the Trailblazers.
The Blazers been coming up too.
Lillard's
without him.
gone probably for the year.
But they've
so
been winning without him.
It's the
though.
NBA, baby.
They've been winning.
They're
without him.
19 and
Anything is
26. So let's look at that. 19 and 20. Bulls should beat them. Spurs are 17 and 29. The Bulls should beat them. The Raptors are 22 and 21. That game is here, so that I think the Bulls should win that. The Thunder, come on, win. Magic, win. They could actually come out of here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 games. They should. I wouldn't be surprised. They should go on a 5-game winning streak, starting on
I
Sunday.
mean, I love my Bulls too. I get it. I love my Bulls, but man, saying we're gonna go 5-0, the Raptors are tough, for
okay,
sure.
4-1.
And the Trailblazers.
I'm looking at these teams.
The only 2 teams I see that's gonna give us some goals: the Trailblazers and the Raptors.
Personally, they should probably go 3-2.
But still, we're still a winning record out of these next
That's
5
still
games.
that's still fine. That's still enough to get healthy.
Yeah.
You still be out on the top.
Yeah, I mean, and they got some time before the All-Star break. I mean, they got All-Star break isn't for like 3 weeks or so.
They'll get
Yeah.
healthy.
4
They'll
weeks.
get healthy. Don't worry.
Then after that, look, they got the Kings after that. Then they got the Hawks. Then the Grizzlies. Hopefully, by the time the Grizzlies come back here, that's not till the end of February.
Who are you talking about?
The Bulls record. After they play the Trailblazers.
I see the Magic.
Oh, sorry. Hold on. I'm sorry. Look at the wrong sketch.
Yeah, February is Magic.
Okay, they got Magic, Raptors again, and then Pacers, Sixers, Suns, Hornets.
I
Minnesota,
mean, these are all some
Thunder.
winnable games, except for the 76ers. For sure, that's going to be a real tough game.
Well, the 76ers have had their number, even with them being 100%
No,
healthy.
it's Embiid. You know, he's playing what we want Vucevic to do. He's
Pretty much, yeah.
You know, he's down in the post and he's killing.
But there's only one ball. We can't expect Vuce to be doing all that when you got DeRozan that's ball hungry, and you got Levine that's ball hungry. White demands the ball. He's ball hungry. Dosunmu looks like he don't miss ever. He needs the ball, to do what he does. So I mean, I get what we want from Vooch, like what the numbers he was putting up when he was in Orlando, but I just don't think it's possible for him to do it on a nightly basis here in Chicago with all the stars that we got at up and
He
comers
can
that we
put a
got.
double, man. It's
He
just
does that every night.
yeah, I mean
Every night.
I mean like a consistent double. I mean like to me personally, we can take it back into the 90s where you start put him in the post, feed him, see where that go, and then like once he gets like warmed up, like how we used to do, and then you can move him out from that point, and then you can give him like those 17 or 18 or 3-pointers, because that way he'd be warm enough you have like in the flow of the game.
But that's my problem though, right? Because back in Orlando,
Yeah.
his double used to look like 27 points, 14, 15 rebounds, with another 8-9 assists. I mean, he was a threat, like a real threat.
Yeah.
Now we're seeing more 12 points, 12 rebounds. He does get that double, but it's not the same double that he was dominating.
I mean, well, that's plus two. You know what I mean? When he was in Orlando, what's going on in Orlando? Who's there? Just him. So he had the ability to take more shots and get those points.
he had Aaron Gordon out there.
Yeah,
he had a little help, but they just weren't that good. He had Mo Bamba.
Yeah. So he didn't have all that. So like, well, basically, I enjoyed before this one. I enjoyed the Bulls' last win against Cleveland. I thought that was an excellent game. I thought that was something that I have a passion for. It was bringing it back into like post game, post moves. I mean, and everybody took shots and they took those threes, but it wasn't consistent back to back, and it was just nice. I love the defense. Vooch, he was playing in the paint. Okay, so he was getting it down. Old school game. I loved it. Defense. And Kobe was penetrating to the cup and making it. What do you got to say about that there, pretty boy?
Well, he didn't do it today, and that's what matters is what he did today.
What he did today.
He did nothing today.
That's
0
all right,
for
man.
9,
They
0 for
split.
10 from the
1 and
three-point
1.
line.
Mm-hmm.
Just move on to the next game. Orlando Magic, you gotta win and blow them out. But in other news in the NBA, what about the Russell Westbrook benching? And they're making a big deal about it. I guess the national media and everyone's making a big deal about it. So they just benched him this one game. They didn't necessarily say they're going to bench him moving forward, or at least do you believe that's what's going to happen? He's been playing
No.
They say he's been playing very poorly, only shooting 29%.
I mean,
Last 7 games.
I also like the Lakers. You know, I like the Lakers. Kobe, it didn't matter. Now
Well-
LeBron's on them. I still watch me some Lakers, but you got Russell Westbrook. I've never seen him play this bad. I've been watching him play for years. Even just last year, he was in Washington with
Well-
Bradley Beal and them, and he basically single-handedly brought them to the playoffs.
Well,
even
at
though
this
they
point,
lost.
don't you think it's there's been a failed experiment for the Lakers?
They're still in contention. They're still in 7th place right now.
But
in the
then they
West?
didn't get Russell Westbrook to come off the bench. They came here to be a third-string superstar for them to get over the hump. And right now, they're barely getting over the hump to even get into the playoffs. It's been a very big disappointment. They really wish they had Caruso and really wish they would have got DeRozan, But they don't. They still got injury-prone Anthony Davis, as we call
Street
him.
clothes.
Street clothes.
Street clothes.
Still in street clothes on the bench. Russell Westbrook, again. I thought it was a horrible signing from the beginning because he doesn't fit in with this team. He doesn't fit in with LeBron. He doesn't fit in with AD. He just doesn't. He's not that type of player. He has to be the alpha male. He makes a lot of turnovers a game. He shoots horribly. But he still gets his points in there. But with this type of team, it does not fit him.
Do you ever hear the saying
At all.
"too much of a good thing"?
Yep.
That's all it is. That's all it is. It's
Yep.
too many stars there.
Too many chefs in one kitchen.
Exactly. That's all it is, bro. That's all it is.
Well, do you think you think it's better for him at this point to come off the bench or have him start?
They're not gonna bench him. He got benched that game because he was playing horribly. I saw the game. He was bricking it up. He was like 3 for 19 that night.
I think it's hard for him to play this game because it's just LeBron's there, AD
Look,
there.
they brought him there because LeBron last year and the year before had to be bringing the ball down himself. That's not his position. They never had a real guard. So they brought him there because this man is a walking triple-double. Everywhere he's been doing triple-double. Man, he averaged...
Did they have another fourth quarter collapse the other night?
They did. Yeah, I watched it. What was it? Who was it? It was another bad team.
Well, I mean,
Indiana.
they do lose a lot of they lose a lot of games.
Indiana.
Indiana, look at this. Not only they beat the Lakers out there, they
beat your Golden
they
State
beat Golden State
Warriors.
in overtime.
Yeah.
With your Klay Thompson, I'm gonna keep pointing it out.
2
Ever
years.
since he been back, they've been losing.
He hasn't played in 2 years, and this is his training camp.
Losing.
This is his training camp. That's gonna
Let me-
take some time.
Let me look up and see what they did tonight. Let me see here. Oh, they are playing tonight.
Well, I'll say the Lakers are 21-22 and an 8th seed in the Western Conference. One of the most disappointing teams in the league. They were all expected this team to be number 1 overall, running away with the best record in the league. A runaway. Everyone thought, it's gonna be a runaway. It's not even gonna be close.
I admit it's been disappointing.
I mean, I saw this from the start. I
Yeah,
knew
it's been
they were
disappointing.
not going to be no top team in the league. All those old players on that team, age and injury equals disaster. And that's exactly what's happening. 21-22, 8 seed, which means they would have to be in the play-in just to get into the tournament. And that's if they can make the play, if they can even win the play-in. I don't know. Something tells me that I would not be surprised.
They're gonna finish in 5th or 6th. This
No,
year.
if they either barely make it in as a 10th or don't make it in at all.
That's craziness.
And I wouldn't be surprised if they're one of those teams to make it in at the last game of the season to get into the play-in tournament. And then they get destroyed in the play-in tournament and they don't even make it into the regular playoffs.
Well, so wait and see.
That's the way it's looking right now.
Well, at some point, Street Clothes is gonna run out of wardrobe for every day on TV. So he is gonna come back.
Do you think once he does come back, something will happen again where he just somehow gets injured
Oh,
again?
give it about 20 games. Someone's gonna bump into his leg and he's gonna go down. He's gonna be out another month and a half, and he'll be back for the playoffs. And I think ultimately that's what teams like to do now. Because I like Brooklyn, it's crazy. 3 of them never played. together. I think they played 19 games together.
I don't think they played that many.
I think it's 19 games all together they played since they formed this team. And the rest of the time they haven't. So they play, someone gets hurt. Oh, I'm out.
This is year number 3. Because year number 1, Durant was still injured.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't even play that season. Then last year, off and on with Durant, and then Kyrie, and then Harden. They had little injuries, and you saw what happened in the playoffs. And then this year, the same thing.
Yep.
Well, his injuries most likely also mixed with Kyrie doesn't want to get vaccinated, but Durant is out for a while too. So we'll see what happens. But here's the thing: with today's game, today's NBA game, load management.
I don't really see that much now.
Oh, you kidding?
There's plenty of it.
Load management. We got to rest our players so that they can be ready for the playoffs.
Well, at least I haven't seen it against the Bulls.
I mean,
everybody be coming out to play against the Bulls. Yeah.
But I mean, there are a lot of these players that you can't play them back-to-back games. And we're talking not older players, we're talking prime players, you know. But that's how it is with today's game.
Yeah, that's it.
It's nowhere near it was when, I hate to say it, when the GOAT was playing. I don't remember ever hearing him load management, even at the end of his career.
It's a different game.
It's a different era. People train differently.
Different.
There wasn't all that
game.
resistance training with
No
all
one
the rubber
trained more than
bands.
Jordan did. He refused to get on load. You asked him load management, like what the hell is that?
The workouts that Jordan was doing back then is not the workouts that they're doing now to make these guys stronger and faster. These guys are from.
I don't know. He's all his excuses I keep hearing. It's not. You know what? It's sad.
Well, look at your boy Kawhi Leonard. I mean,
he tore his ACL. He's not playing this
he's
season.
been on load management since he's been on the Spurs. Then he went to Toronto, load management. LA, load management. I mean,
he tore his ACL last in the playoffs, so that's a major injury. He's not going to come back this season. It'd be foolish, I think, for him to come back this season. And the same thing with Paul George. I mean, he has a major injury himself. He probably should just sit it out the rest of the year too. But if the Clippers are smart, they would trade Paul George while they can still get rid of him. Get Kawhi Leonard a better player around him. Or
Kawhi Leonard's not even playing
when he does come back. They just, they really screwed up. The Clippers really screwed up. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if Kawhi Leonard says, you know what, I'm leaving. I'm gone out of this. I'm leaving. He probably should.
He's not going to do it. Because he
same
went back there for a purpose.
The same thing with Anthony Towns in Minnesota. It's just wasting your good years away in a team that's not going anywhere.
Yeah.
Remind you of a team in the NFL called the Detroit Lions? Waste your career away in those teams, in those cities.
The Chicago Bears.
My goodness. Yeah, but the Bears are a major market.
It don't
Detroit's
matter.
a horrible market.
Still losing.
The Clippers are unfortunately a second-rate secondary team to the Lakers. They had their opportunity last year, the last couple of years. Injuries have caught up with them, and I just don't think Paul George is the answer for Kawhi Leonard. I actually had them winning the championship the last couple of years, but
that was a bad move, dude.
The injuries have caught up with them, and now they're not even in the top. Really, without these two guys, they're not even the top 10 team.
Again, they're surprising because they've been winning too. They have been winning.
Yeah,
Reggie
but let's be honest. They're not going to be able to do anything. They're not going anywhere without their stars. I don't care what they're doing. When it counts, you need your star players.
I mean,
if Kawhi is not going to be there and Paul George is not going to be there, then what do you think is going to happen when they get in the playoffs? They're going to get a first-round knockout.
They beat the 76ers tonight. Joel Embiid was out there.
Okay, well, that happens we're talking any given day, a team could be another team, but we're talking a 7-game series in the playoffs. It's a different animal.
Yes, it is.
Okay, it's not. You're not playing Joel Embiid 7 times in the playoffs unless it's in the finals. And we know damn well that neither one of these teams are even going to get into the finals. So let's be realistic. But that's what I think. Westbrook is benched. The Lakers, I'm sure if they could, they would trade him, but no one wants him. Would you?
I'm sure he played tonight. I didn't get a chance to watch it because I was watching the Bulls game, but I'm sure Westbrook played tonight. I'm sure he started. They're not gonna sit a guy with that kind of caliber. He had a double-double tonight. Matter of fact, 18 points, 11 rebounds, and 7 assists in that win.
How many turnovers?
He had three turnovers.
Doesn't he average a couple a game though? Right?
He averages a lot. He averages about four a game.
Yeah, you can't really trust a player like that to win you a title if he's a turnover machine. You know, and the problem is in key points in the playoffs where it really matters when he's really going to screw up and get a turnover. That's the type of player, unfortunately, I see Westbrook being.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I don't think he'll ever win a championship.
It was like Melo showed up tonight. Melo played 17 minutes, got 23 points.
You ain't getting that from him every night. Let's be honest. You're not going to get that from Carmelo Anthony every single night at this point.
Why not? He's a spot-up shooter. That's what he does right now. That's basically what Ray Allen was doing at the end of his career.
Ray Allen was just sitting in corners hitting threes. That's all Ray Allen did at the end of his career. He was playing no defense. He couldn't keep up with nobody. I watched those games too. And all he would do is LeBron or Wade or whatever, push it, shoot it out to Ray Allen, shoot the three, bam. That's all he would do the last X amount of years of his career. That's all he did. You know, he used to be able to dunk. But the choice, he was able to dunk, he was able to take it down the court.
Mm-hmm.
He was a ball handler. The years in Miami, he was no ball handler. He was just sitting there at clutch time to shoot a three. You know, and unfortunately teams did not pay attention. Like, well, you know this guy does nothing but shoot threes. So we just got to have a body on him, but never would do that. Carmelo Anthony, yes, he had a good game, but he's not going to be giving you those type of numbers every night because he cannot put up those type of numbers every night. He's at the end of his career. He can't keep up like that. That's why he comes off the bench.
You don't forget how to shoot, man. This is Carmelo Anthony. He's one of the best scorers.
Carmelo Anthony.
That was in the game over the past.
I understand
10
that,
years.
but that was years ago.
You don't forget how to shoot.
You don't forget how to shoot, but when there's a hand in your face, you ain't making no shots. And so he can't play defense no more. He can't drive past anybody no more. And what was his problem always? He was always getting stripped. That hasn't changed.
Yeah.
So that's just going to get worse as you get older. So again, he's a bench player that can give you a spark here and there. But they don't have AD. It ain't going to matter. Westbrook is supposed to be that guy that's supposed to be able to take some of the burden off of LeBron along with Davis, you know, because you know Davis is going to get hurt at some point. You don't expect him to play the whole season. He's going to miss some time. But even Davis, he's kind of, you know, hasn't been putting up the numbers he was putting up when he was playing.
Yeah.
So this team was put together badly. They just wanted to throw a bunch of stars together. Players who have never played with each other before.
Yeah.
You know, in the Olympics, that doesn't count.
Yeah,
We're talking
Olympics
we're talking
and they play with each
NBA
other in the
players.
off-season.
No, but it doesn't matter when you're playing 82 games a season for 6 months out of the year. Okay, these guys were put together overnight. Yes, they're friends. That's great to hear, but you are not with your other players around you.
They scrimmage together. They practice together.
Constantly.
And if that's the case, it sure isn't showing on the court because they're 21 and 22 under 500 and 8th place in the West. So, to me, it's not working. It's not working. And this is the problem. You want to put your friends together. We want to put our friends together and to make NBA teams. And that's the problem. That's a good example. Those teams will never sustain. Teams like that, like those Heat teams, and the Boston team.
Championship.
For how long?
But they won a championship.
How long? They're in the here and now. We got to win now. We got to win here and now. That's fine.
That's the
but
whole point.
That's good for a year, maybe 2. That's it. After that,
I'd like to see a championship here.
After that, the team is gone. Now you're going to spend the next how many years trying to put another team together.
But they got that championship, and that's all that they really care about is getting that ring.
Mm-hmm.
That's all teams care about. So that's why they form all these super teams, super friends, you know, to play.
But it doesn't give you a dynasty.
Yeah,
it's not a dynasty.
Yeah, that's not what they care about.
It's not a dynasty.
It's not what
trying
they
to
care
get that
about.
quick win. Look at Toronto.
So
Toronto got that quick win.
Yeah.
You got that championship. They don't care about that no more. Now they're trying to put something back together, but they got that championship.
Yeah, that's all it's about.
But it doesn't. But again, it's not sustainable.
Okay.
So
What else we got tonight?
Well, we have a few minutes left, so only a couple of minutes left here. You guys want to get into anything in regards of NFL?
We can. Well,
What are we doing so far with the search for coaches?
the searches for coaches, there's still the Bears right now. They're still interviewing a lot of coaches as well as GMs. This past week, they interviewed Mr. Reggie McKenzie for GM. He was a former player. He's also a person who drafted Khalil Mack, and he's been a Zach for 28 years. 18 of those years been with the Packers. So that's pretty impressive. Also, the Bears, they interviewed head coach or possible candidate for head coach Brian Leftwich. And
What?
yes,
Why?
because he has done a pretty good job with Brady, and also he's the same gentleman who helped get Chris Godwin and Mr. Mike Evans into the Pro Bowl. Each of them had 1,100 yards each, and also he helped Jameis Winston, who also led the league at one point with touchdowns, but and interceptions, but a total of 5,109 yards for a whole year. So that would look, besides the interceptions, the yards itself and the touchdowns will look great here. So, I mean, Jameis Winston's not one of the Pro Bowl kind of quarterbacks. Even when he did that, I don't think he made it to the Pro Bowl, but
He was decent.
that was good. So that's something that the Bears can kind of look into. I think that'll be something nice.
Well, again, I'll go back to this. Why the hell are the Bears interviewing head coaches? You don't have a GM yet.
I don't think it really matters. They can interview as many head coaches as they want, but like I agree with you on one thing. They do need to put the GM together first. But like I'll keep saying,
that Packers guy, what's his name, Foles? Or no, Wolf. Elliot Wolf.
yes,
Yeah, so he's the son of Ron Wolf, the old GM from the Packers back in the day.
yeah.
Well, he has some. He's been with that organization for a long time. We'll see. They got some other ones they're interviewing. Now, my understanding is they expect to have a GM in place within the next week or so, and so by then, more teams in the NFL will be eliminated. And by the time they get that GM in place, they should be looking into head coaches, or they may just wait until the Super Bowl when all the teams are done and they can start interviewing like potential head coaches that are on championship teams.
What I'm thinking is the Bears, what they're trying to do is they're trying to see what kind of fits their mold, and once they do find a GM, the coaches that they have interviewed, they're probably gonna kind of like not request, but they're gonna say, okay, suggest, like, okay, these particular coaches, we really like them. What do you think about them? And
GM could say, I don't want none of them. Here's whoever.
Right. And the GM could definitely well see, and hopefully that he's allowed to do that. But then again, with the McCaskies and all that stuff, I don't know.
You're right, because with these people, God,
So
you never know what you put it into their hands, and God knows what we'll get.
Yeah. So I just want whoever comes in here, I just want them to have a solid plan. That's the problem I've been having as a fan of football and a fan of the Chicago Bears. The Bears, just as an organization, does not have a plan. Yeah, they want to win. Everybody want to win. We want to win in life.
Of course.
But what is your plan? How are you gonna how are you gonna win? So that's been my thing.
Well, any thoughts on that?
Well, what I heard was we interviewed some guy named Ryan Poles. He spent the last 13 years, I think, with the Kansas City Chiefs. He's been a good scout, obviously, because look at that team. I think he'd be a pretty good pick, being the fact that he helped build that team, the way it is right now. And as far as a head coaching job, Leslie Frazier. I heard they interviewed him, and it was a pretty good interview. I wouldn't mind seeing him in a Bears, uniform at the head coaching position. I think he'd be good to develop Justin Fields.
He's a defensive coach. I think Jim Harbaugh would be a much better coach to take care of Fields because he was the quarterback.
Well,
And so that's
the
what
Bears haven't even tried to interview him.
That's because
Jim Harbaugh, he
Well, the GM
hired a
that-
new assistant, so I don't think.
well, the
that's
GM that we get may think differently. They say, you know what, I want to interview him if he's not taken already. But moving on, there's two things I want to mention for the playoffs coming up this weekend. So King Henry is returning for the Titans against the Bengals.
Yep.
You didn't know that?
Well, I was letting you what your thoughts about that, as well as
It helps the team. It helps the Titans.
I heard Randall Cobb is going to be back for
Yep,
the
he got
Packers
reactivated.
against Jimmy G and the 49ers.
Man, I can't wait to see that game. I cannot wait to see
You know,
the
Green
San
Bay's gonna
Francisco
win that.
49ers in the cold. I heard it's going to be about 10 degrees.
Okay.
They're not going to be ready for that.
Okay.
They are not going to be ready for that. So I expect a mauling in Green Bay.
Here's what I expect.
Mhm.
What's the running back in San Francisco? What's his name?
Debo Samuel.
Debo. I expect a nice, good running game on Debo. Run all over that 10-degree frozen tundra all over Green Bay's defense. And it'll surprise you by holding the ball, running the ball, and Jimmy G doesn't have to be spectacular. You can just run the ball down their throats and keep Aaron Rodgers
Okay.
off the field. Nice, long 7-minute drives resulting in touchdowns.
When is this game?
It's tomorrow afternoon.
What
20
time
minutes.
is this game?
It's
I want to see
like
if I
7.
can I watch it with you. Because I think that's going to be a great game to watch. As a
You
matter
know,
of fact.
I mean, and
Oh, it is 7:15 tomorrow.
San Francisco's having some players on their defense come back, and you know, but anyway, I wanted to say with Tennessee, you know, Henry coming back.
You got them beating the Bengals?
Oh yeah, I already predicted that.
Nay.
Yeah, that's in Tennessee, and they're gonna get a nice good dose of Henry.
They're going to get a nice good dose
Oh,
of
Henry.
Joe Burrow throwing that ball all over the field. I expect another 400-yard passing game. I expect no less.
Okay.
400 yards. Did you
Yeah.
say 400 yards?
400.
Oh wow.
All right.
I don't think that's gonna be possible.
Really?
but
This is the
we'll
same guy
see.
that threw for like 520 yards just a couple of weeks ago, and we're laughing at the fact
That's
he's-
not happening. That's not gonna
This is a
happen.
different team.
Tennessee, yeah.
Okay.
Different team.
I don't think he's gonna even throw for.
I
I,
think
don't
King
think he's gonna
Henry-
throw for 300.
I think King Henry's gonna get one touchdown, and he'll probably get about 50 or 60 yards coming back. Not playing for how long. They're gonna try and feed it to him, but ultimately that's what's gonna cost him the game, is trying to get him too involved in the game.
Okay. Well, I got a different story. I think that's gonna be a run heavy game on Tennessee's part, and they're gonna really wear down
It's going to be good
Cincinnati's defense,
good running.
and they're gonna
Play
score those
action.
points. And Burrow is probably gonna one of those little spells with those turnovers like he did against the Bears. You know, playing from behind. When they're playing from behind, they get nervous and they get sacked and throw interceptions. That's what I think will happen.
Well, like I said, Tennessee is probably most likely going to win that. I don't think it's going to be a blowout. Not at all. Henry will run the ball. I don't think he's going to go over 100 yards. I'm just saying because he is kind of coming off injury.
Mhm.
You know, you're going to have to really see. And plus, the playoff game is going to be a lot different than the regular season. So, I think that he is going to run the ball. There's going to be a lot of play action, some nice time to passing, and some good defense. I don't think Joe Burrow is going to have a horrible game, but I don't think he's going to be up there with 400 yards. I think it'll be a good 300.
What do you got for the Packers?
Well, for the Packers are going to win that one. I believe Green Bay is just a little bit too much for San Francisco right now. The thing is, Green Bay has Aaron Rodgers, so that
Secret weapon.
You know, that takes a lot of
The
weight.
bad.
How is that a
man
secret
with it.
weapon? There's nothing
So-
secret about him.
Bad man. You
No.
just said so the other day. You said when Aaron Rodgers is gone, all that magic,
Mhm.
all that's gonna be gone. That's a secret weapon.
So yeah, but in order to beat him now while he's
Mhm.
playing,
Mhm.
is to keep him off the field.
I think
And the way to do
thing
that is to run the ball, long, sustainable drives, 7-8 minute drives, a long drive that results in a touchdown.
well,
And then you somehow that makes, because you notice when Aaron Rodgers does play, when they do beat him, it's because he's on the sidelines and they're wearing out that defense to keep him off the field. When he does get on the field, he's a little rusty and they end up going 3 and out. And then you get another drive in there and you run the ball, another nice long drive.
he has a rare
You
time
build a
to be a
run.
3 and out man. But anything about it, San Francisco has a good defense, so they probably will have Aaron, kind of be like a three
Back
on a
on his
couple
heels.
times. And I believe it will be a close game around halftime, but I believe Green Bay will win it by 10. I believe Aaron will make those throws that Jimmy
can't.
So that's the thing. So that's
I don't know. Green Bay's record is not very 500-ish at home. Over the last 20 years.
He's got that band around.
Remember when they were undefeated?
hand.
Remember they were undefeated. They never lost a playoff game in Lambeau Field.
Yes,
Since
we remember,
then,
Frank.
they are 7-6 in the playoffs in Lambeau.
It don't matter.
It's not very unbeatable turf anymore.
It doesn't matter, dude. Each
So-
year, each season's
But
different.
overall, that record is still impressive. I know they've lost 6 now, but the amount of wins that they had, though, I know you're looking at the past 13 games, but we're talking about the
Past 20 years.
Right.
Look at the last 20 years. This is with these two Hall of Fame quarterbacks. They've had Aaron Rodgers and Brett Favre.
Mm-hmm.
So it doesn't even matter which one they had. They're top best quarterbacks of all time for that franchise, right?
Yep.
And they are not very impressive at home. They just aren't.
All right.
Not in the last 20 years.
Let's move on to the Sunday game. Rams and Buccaneers. I still got my Buccaneers. The Rams are impressive. No disrespect to the Rams. No disrespect to Matthew Stafford, Cooper Kupp. I mean, I know what's in LA, but Tom Terrific. He's gonna be back out with Frank's boy Gronk. Guaranteed to catch a touchdown. Mike Evans, which I didn't know, has caught over 1,000 yards in the past 8 consecutive seasons.
I told you. That's what
I
I
mean,
just told
he
you.
is a beast.
This is when, Leftwich was doing the OC.
Yeah, he's a beast.
Okay, so, it's good. But as far as the Tampa Bay and Rams game, I believe Tampa Bay will come out on top on that. It's nothing against, the Rams. I think the Rams defense is good, but Tampa Bay's defense is a little bit better, I believe. And also, you understand, Rams quarterback hasn't been this far, so
His first playoff win in like 13 years.
so
Crazy.
we're about to see with that. But anything's possible. The Rams can kind of come with a squeak out win, but I think Tom Brady would make that effort.
Last but not least, game of the week.
I got the Rams
Okay.
winning, and I got that defense. Their defense, Donald, is going to give Tom Brady some problems tomorrow. And Tom Brady does not have the same weapons that he had before, so I
do agree with
I
that.
got the Rams winning tomorrow
I do agree.
in Tampa Bay.
If the Rams
And I have the
Rams
49ers
defensive
coming
line can
to
make
I have
their
the
plays.
49ers coming to LA next week for the NFC Championship game, where the Rams will beat them there.
Okay.
Well, I can't wait for after this weekend so we can go over this again and
Frank will be buying
have
everybody
another
beer.
show. Yeah.
Mhm.
I wish we would have a little bet like that.
Well, I'm not gonna bet. No, I'm not gonna bet. That's
Or
what I
double
believe.
bet.
That's what I think. I won't do
Alright.
that. I just feel kind of comfortable that I believe the Rams have got their stuff together, and I do believe Tampa Bay is struggling, and
He's struggling.
Tom Brady does not have. Again, he doesn't have those weapons. And he's playing a much better defense than he's played the last how many weeks, and the
He
Rams are
doesn't have the
gonna.
weapon, so Evans is not a weapon. Gronk is not a
They
weapon.
are weapons. Don't get me wrong, but they have not played a defense like the Rams defense.
Okay.
And that's why I think that's going to be
Okay,
the
moving
issue.
on.
And the Rams are going to really going to expose the Tampa Bay's defense.
Okay. I can't wait to see it.
Yep.
I'm excited.
Can't wait to see your face, bro.
Last game of the week will be the Bills and the Chiefs. I think that's going to be a dynamite game. And it's going to be a high-scoring, gunslinging. We're going to see a lot of cross-body throwing because both quarterbacks do it. Patrick Mahomes throws to his right. Josh Allen throws off his left. It's basically, pretty much the same quarterbacks. Different teams. Buffalo has a better defense. Kansas City has a better offense. But we're going to see how that works out. But I still have the Buffalo Bills beating Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs this weekend.
Okay.
I think it really depends on what's the weather going to be like. If it's going to be a high offensive game, if the weather is going to be really cold and snowy and like that's not going to be no high offensive scoring game. I think it's going to be a defensive game and a running game is what's going to matter. This type of weather, this type of year, depending on these cold weather stadiums, you rely mostly on running the ball and playing defense for the most part. Unless it's Tampa Bay weather, then yes, that'll be a shootout. That could be a shootout, but I don't think this is going to be a shootout. I think it's not going to be as a high offensive scoring game as you think it's going to be. I think it's going to be more of a defensive game. I say more like a 23-17 win by
Oh wow, we're kind of
by the Chiefs.
Wow.
That's what I think. What do you think?
Well, we're close on the points, man. I was thinking 27-24. Around that area. I think the Chiefs will kind of squeak it out. I think it will be a kind of hard-fought game. I think both offensive lines going to have to play a key component in this game because I believe both sides' defenses are pretty decent. I believe the Bills' defense is a little bit more better than KC defense. So we'll see.
All right then. Well, I think that brings an end to our show today.
All right.
Want to thank everyone that watches again.
Yeah.
Thank you for tuning in. We're going to have another one again after these playoffs are over with.
Mm-hmm.
Talk about our predictions, our opinions, see who came out. Can't wait.
Yeah. Give us a question. We'll try to answer it for you.
Oh, all right.